team. So first of all, who I am. My name's Aaron Lathrop. I've been a leader, coach, mentor, manager, supervisor, salesman for a lot of years across 7 different industries, from automotive sales to real estate, network marketing, and now healthcare, manufacturing, all of that stuff. Certified lean coach, lean manufacturing. So I'm also who I'm not, right? I'm also not a millionaire guru, motivational speaker. I'm just a guy. I'm just a student of this material. I'm just somebody who, who's really passionate about getting out there and helping people. When I come across somebody who's got a problem, I want to use the knowledge and experience from the books I've read, or the videos I've seen, or the audio that I've ingested, and be able to deliver that back to those folks who it might help. Personally, I'm very happy and comfortable where I am. I'm not in pursuit of millions of dollars. I'm married. I have 3 beautiful children. I'm happy. So there are a lot of people out there who pursue this type of work, this type of coaching, mentoring, training as a means to fame and fortune. I'm not out there for that. I'm just looking to help. So if I can help your team at all, that's what I'm here for. So a few of the subjects I'd love to cover with you, one being the law of attraction. This is the one kind of universal law. There's probably about 25 universal laws that govern this, the space that we live in, the space and time that we live in. Law of gravity, everyone is familiar with. Everybody understands it for the most part, at least on a superficial level. We know that if we stand on this chair and jump off, we will come down. And we don't really understand the mechanisms behind it. We don't know how it works. We just trust that it does. And the law of attraction and some of the other things that we're going to talk about, they work in the same way. They don't matter. It doesn't matter whether you believe in them or not. It doesn't matter whether you buy in. It doesn't matter whether you trust them. They just work. They work in every aspect of your life, in every aspect of your surroundings, and there's no escaping them. So the law of attraction simply says that which, if you think about something with emotion, it will ultimately manifest itself in reality. Everything that you think about, if you can, as a man thinketh, right? If you can think, it can be done. And this is, so there's some anecdotal evidence and there's some empirical evidence to support it. So anecdotal evidence, let's talk about that for a minute. Tony Robbins tells a story of a woman in his seminars that set out with a goal of $100,000, and she won that $100,000 in the lottery just ahead of her time frame that she set out for herself to achieve it. So she's inspired by this. She sets out to set another goal. This time she gives herself a little more time, not 6 weeks, but 6 months, and she achieves $200,000 in the lottery. Inspired by that, another couple says, "Oh, if it's that easy, well, let's just do it ourselves. But why go for 100,000 or 200,000? Let's go big. Let's go for $1 million." And she sets out. This couple sets out. They tell all their friends and family. They start to live their life in such a manner that they are millionaires. And as it turns out, almost a year to the day, they win $1 million in the lottery. Again, this is very anecdotal evidence. There's no data or evidence to support these claims. It's just something that happened. You could argue that it's just a lottery. They just got lucky. It's just false cause fallacy. They were going to win the lottery anyway. It doesn't matter that they went to Tony Robbins' seminar and heard about all this law of attraction stuff. But when I heard the story, I started thinking, what if that's true? So I started looking for ways that I could support this claim, this law of attraction claim, in other ways. And I eventually landed on the divorce rate. I mean, everybody's kind of familiar with the fact that 50% of all divorces, of all marriages, end in divorce. And that gets even more profound when you start to think about the second and third divorces, 60 and 75% respectively. So what that's telling you is that someone gets married and then divorced, and that pattern of behavior continues. They get married, they get divorced, they get married, they get divorced, they get married, and every subsequent marriage is more likely to fail than the first. Normal learning would tell us that that's an anomaly. Typically, when you do something, you fail at it, you do better the next time. Well, marriage doesn't seem to work that way, and I think the law of attraction is why. You think that you need a spouse, and this is true for everyone who either ever gets divorced or not. Someone who has a happy marriage for 50 years and married to the same person, they thought they needed a spouse, they needed somebody in their life. They set out to find that person, and with every pore of their being, they were emotionally involved in that outcome. The way they did their hair, the way they did their perfume, the way they did their makeup, the way they acted, the way they talked, the way they walked, the way they spoke, the way they dressed, the way they looked, everything that they did just said, I need to be involved, I need to be married, I need to have a spouse, I need to be happy, right? Then the people that get divorced, not long after getting, at some point in the divorce, things start to go sideways, as in every marriage they do, by the way. Not just the ones that are in divorce, all marriages have their problems, but this person says, oh, I have these problems, I don't want to deal with this anymore, and they start to get emotionally attached to the idea that if they weren't married, they wouldn't have to deal with this anymore. If they weren't married, things would be easier. And ultimately, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to fight about this, I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to change, I want you to change, I don't want you to change, but you did change, and eventually they get divorced. And they start the pattern over again. Most people. They say, oh, I need a spouse. So they start to change the way they act, and change the way they behave, and change the way they walk, and change the way they dress to attract a spouse. They get the spouse, and now they start this other pattern again. It's just this law of attraction at work. They thought they needed a spouse, they attracted that thing into their life. They thought they needed a divorce, they attracted that thing into their life, and over again. And the evidence is there to support that, right? 50% of divorces end in marriage. 50% of marriages end in divorce, and that percentage goes up based on subsequent marriages and divorces. There's also this idea that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. We've all heard that adage before, right? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And most people think that that's because it takes money to make money. I don't think that's true. From what I've read and from what I've heard and from what I've seen, I don't think it takes money to make money. I think it takes a mindset to make money, and it's a mindset that wealthy people are born with. When I say born with, I mean they're born into an environment that cultivates it. They're born in a way that they grew up in a place where we don't think about, wealthy people don't think about not having wealth. Wealthy people don't fear not having enough financial resources to accomplish their goals. That's just not one of their barriers. They have their problems. Believe me, I know many wealthy people that make millions of dollars a year that have problems. Believe me, and some of those problems are manifested because of the law of attraction. But having resources is not one of their problems. You look at the poor folks, and I'm not talking about extreme poverty here. I'm not talking about people who literally can't sustain life. I'm talking about, people born into a system of food stamps and transitional assistance and looking for people to kind of contribute to their way of life. They have this mindset that they won't have enough at the end of the month. They won't have enough financial resources to support their lifestyle. They just have that mindset. And what happens is, no matter how much money they make, they take that mindset with them. So, and this, by the way, is true from personal experience. There was a time when I was working in the automotive industry, making north of $150,000 a year, and I still lived my life day to day. I save more now making 1/3 of what I used to make than I ever did making 3 times as much. And it's just because I changed my mindset, just because I changed my state of mind, I changed what I focused on. But Poor folks, they focus on not having enough. They focus on the lack, and they fear it so deeply, and they're so emotionally attached to, oh my God, if I don't have enough money, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And they just get to this place where that thing happens, and those things all come true. And we can take a deep dive into the law of attraction. We ask people about, their experiences, and have they ever seen something that they wanted, and they wanted it so much, and then they went after it. And almost everybody I talk to about this has some sort of anecdotal evidence to support the law of attraction. And if, like it did for me, once I started seeing the anecdotal evidence around me, it started me on a path of, well, what if that's true? What do I have to change about the way that I'm thinking right now to manifest what I want? So we can head down that road. And then the second law that I want to talk about is the law of compensation. It's also stated as the law of reaping and sowing. It talks about that which you sow, you will reap in multiples. And I tell a story about the law, the sower from the Bible. But it's a good story. It talks about, some of your seed will fall on rocky ground, and the birds will get some of it, and some of it will fall on thorny ground. And all of those things won't produce any results, and you'll feel discouraged. And then some of your seed will fall on good ground. And the good ground will still only produce a small percentage of the amount of seed that falls on good ground will still only produce a certain, won't produce, but that small percentage of stuff that falls on good ground and the small percentage of the stuff that falls on good ground that actually fruits, each one fruit contains multiples of the original seed that you look at. A pomegranate has millions of seeds for one fruit, and one tree that was planted from one seed creates, right? So we're talking about, and these behaviors, people don't understand that these behaviors that they're doing are sowing the seeds of their results. The results, if you're the type of employee, if you're the type of person that just coasts through life and you just kind of try to get through the day, and you come in the morning and you're in on time and you leave when you're supposed to leave and you take your breaks when you're supposed to leave, but you're just kind of coasting through the day. You're just trying to, get from one task to the next and string enough of those tasks together to get to 5 o'clock, and you're living for the weekends. Well, that lifestyle, that behavior is sowing the seeds of the results that you're currently getting. If you're currently struggling with something, if you're currently not where you were hoping to be in your career a year ago or 5 years ago, this may be one of the reasons why. We also talk about people who sabotage. People love to just kind of complain and moan, and the company doesn't do this, and they don't pay enough, and they don't have good enough benefits, and the work hours are too long, or there's too much work every day, and I can't get through this. And these people just create this life of, they are sowing the seeds with their complaints of this life that they don't want to live, right? So we'll talk about how to change some of that behavior and how to stop sabotaging your workplace and the people around you. We get into a deep dive on this. We talk about you are in the place where you are meant to be. Lots of people are saying, if only, if I could, if I was, if I were, if this happened then, right? And that stuff's a trap. That stuff's a trap. It gets you to a place where you think that there's a place coming where there are no problems. I'm sorry, but that place doesn't exist. That place doesn't exist. There are always going to be problems, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much time you have, no matter how much resources you have. There's always going to be issues. There's always going to be problems. But changing your thinking to a place, and owning your results, and owning the fact that where I am now is the result of all the actions I took in the past. When you start to own that, when people start to kind of realize that, it's a very small leap to go from I own where I am now to I own where I am headed. And when they start to make that shift, they can start making small, tiny decisions that can create the life that they want. And, my mentor, Jim Rohn, said, if you will change, everything will change for you. If you won't change, it isn't going to change. And I think that's true. So I love to talk about that with people that I start out with. We'll go from there to Tony Robbins' 6 core emotional needs. The need for certainty, the need to know how things are going to turn out, know how things are going to go, the need for uncertainty or variety, the need for surprise, the need for connection and acceptance and love, the need for uniqueness, the need to set yourself apart from everybody around you, the need for growth. We have a fundamental human need to grow, to become better than we were yesterday. Now, sometimes better is a subjective term. Better at complaining is what some people are hoping to be. Better at coming in a little later and leaving a little earlier and stretching your lunch breaks a little bit. That, to some people, maybe even on a subconscious level, is better. But we do have this fundamental need to be better than we were yesterday, tomorrow. And the actions that we take today are in pursuit of that, whether we realize it or not. And the last, fundamental human need is the need for contribution. We all have a need to contribute beyond ourselves, to do something for the greater good, to provide more for the people around us. And most of the time, that's very inwardly focused. It's my kids, my wife, my life, my family, right? But when you start to really think about how you can solve this need for yourself, you start to really contribute to the people around you. Even if I personally have no aspirations to be, a millionaire, right? I don't have any aspirations to have this abundance of wealth that I could never spend. But I recognize that lots of people have that aspiration. So I develop a lot of skills to help people in pursuit of their aspirations. And that's how I contribute beyond myself. And I like to help people kind of recognize that. And the better you get, the better the people around you get. And you get to feel that sense of contribution. And then the last thing that I like to do is about an hour long, maybe 45 minutes, is a goals workshop, where I kind of bring people through a place where you're writing down what your goals are, and you're kind of understanding, using the 3 principles that we just talked about, the law of attraction, the law of compensation, and the 6 fundamental needs, to develop your list of goals and aspirations that you hope to achieve in the next 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, and then using those tools to develop a plan of going after those goals. So that's what I'd love to come and talk to your team about. If you'd have me, I'm excited. Thank you.